Hi there. Oh, I'm very loud. I'm going to start with a question. How old do you think I am? Any ideas? 100. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. 45. That's not bad. True, a bit low, a bit low. It's a nonsensical question, I know, and you're probably wondering, why am I asking this question? Well, it's partly extreme vanity. But it's also because it breaks down barriers. Yeah, I stop being a teacher and I become a human being when I ask silly questions like that. But how old am I? Yeah, 45 is not bad. I'm happy with 45. Yeah. Any more accurate estimates? 40 now. 40 is very good, very good. I'm actually 51. Can you believe it? God forbid, hell's bells, it can't be possible. I'm 51. The mathematically gifted amongst you have probably already computed, therefore, that I was born in 1967. I wanted you to know that, yeah, because that dates me, that puts me in a period of history, an epoch. And when I was growing up, books were not that stimulating, but they were rather bland and rather dry. Not as beautiful or as colourful or as weird and wonderful and exciting as they are today. That's why I wanted for you to know when I was born. And I suppose it's because I grew up during the 1970s and I was an adolescent during the Thatcher years. I suppose, yeah, I didn't have a good relationship with books. I distrusted books. I avoided books. If I saw a book, I would quickly hurry past it before an adult suggested that I might open it. And even going in the school library was a traumatic experience. All those neat rows of books, that petrifying silence, that lack of action, lack of activity. The only joy for me of going into a library was to make a lot of noise and to get ejected from the library. That was the only pleasure I could take from libraries as a child. My epiphany with books came when I had children. Not me personally, there's someone close by who had the children. Reading children's storybooks became a nightly ritual. And it was then that I woke up. Yeah, I woke up to the wonderment, to the joy of children's books and children's literature, the dreams, the voyages you can go on, the adventures, the fantasies. And it suddenly, the penny dropped, I suppose this idea that books were static, that they were inert, that nothing really happened, nothing real happens in a book. I realised I was completely wrong about that. I was completely wrong. And in fact, as a very famous poet said, Emily Dickinson, she said that the brain is wider than the sky, and it's true. You can find anything in a book, and people write things in books that are wonderful beyond our imagination. So yeah, this is my sea change. Yeah, this is when I wake up to the wonder of books, and that brings me on rather conveniently to Book Hoof. The origin of Book Hoof. If you want to find the origin of Book Hoof, you need to travel with me to Germany, to the Frankfurt Book Fair, and it was there that we interviewed. I actually ought to mention my good friends Freddie and Christine. We go to various book fairs. And we get a press pass so that we can get in free of charge. And we conduct radio interviews. And we were interviewing a South African publishing house, and they told us about this marvellous idea in South Africa called Book Dash, which is, the principle is that you get fully grown adults, you put a group of them in a room, lock them in there for 12 hours, feed them chocolate and pizza, things like that, healthy foods. And at the end of the 12 hours, they need to have written and illustrated and edited and uploaded a children's storybook. So Christine, Freddie and myself, we thought, well, this is great. We like the sound of this. But when can we put this into operation? How can we do this? Because at Centrale, in general, we just teach little 2-hour portions. When are we going to get our opportunity to lock up students for 12 hours? Which is one of my secret fantasies. But as luck would have it, fate's giant hand came down out of the sky, Providence, with the Semaine d'Alliance, which, as you may know, probably most of you know, is a workshop event, a 3-day workshop event with students from, engineers from Centrale, business students, business school students from Audencia, and architecture students from ENSA. So yeah, the Semaine d'Alliance was an opportunity for us to operate one of these Book Dash workshops, and we did this workshop, got these students working on children's storybooks, and they did a marvellous job. I'm going to use a couple of big words, synergy. Yeah, there was synergy because these students coming from different disciplines, different schools, they did produce something that was bigger than their individual parts, than the sum of their individual parts. So yeah, very inspiring, the quality of the work that they produced. Got a better S word actually, even longer than synergy. Serendipity, yeah, that they started out on something with an idea, but by the end of it, it had evolved into something more substantial, yeah, and something more creative than what they had originally envisaged. The thing that moved me more than anything was the spirit in that workshop, the spirit in the room across those 3 days, and it really was an atmosphere of cooperation, of common humanity, of empathy, of goodwill, of good grace, of kindness. It was a wonderful atmosphere. There was no spite or antagonism or competition. They were just all working together towards a common goal. And I've got a little quotation there. That's a quotation by the wonderful, magical children's author Roald Dahl. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Well, I can only say that there was magic in that room and in that workshop across those 3 days, real magic. And I suppose in terms of barriers, I've got to get my barriers in, I've got to get my walls, I've got to knock down a few walls. I suppose the lesson that these students coming from different disciplines, that they worked so well together. They didn't know each other, but you would imagine they did. They worked really well together, and they were learning in an heuristic way. This wasn't a teacher standing at the front, puffing and pontificating. Don't get me wrong, I like teachers who puff and pontificate at the front. I like them. But no, this wasn't about teachers puffing and pontificating. These students were learning from each other. And it does show that, that there's great benefit in not segregating different subjects and different disciplines. Get them working together. This was one of the books that they produced during the workshop. As you can see, the illustrations are absolutely wonderful. This is a book entitled Amina's Dream, and it's taking a child on a journey around the world, and it's a wonderful book. More recently, I've done been working with master's students who have been creating books on engineering challenges, pitched at teenagers. And again, this is an example of a book that they've done. This is one on nitrogen. Now, you might think nitrogen's not a very interesting topic, but again, it's wonderfully illustrated. You'd never imagine that some of the students that created this were from Latin America. You'd never tell. Wonderful colours, wonderful illustrations, and a marvellous experience, again, and in terms of breaking down barriers. I think this was very valuable, not only for teenagers to be able to understand these engineering challenges of the future. It's through wider understanding that we're going to solve the engineering challenges of the future, and better, the more people that know and understand these challenges, the better. It wasn't just about improving their knowledge to teenagers, but also I think the master's students learned a lot from this activity. In the engineers, doctors, lawyers, professional people use a language we don't understand. Nobody understands what they're talking about unless you share their knowledge, you share their expert knowledge. And I think they learned a very valuable lesson in terms of breaking down barriers within themselves, making these ideas understandable and accessible to others, using language that people understand. And it was a very valuable exercise in that respect. Let me come on now to, the Book Dash model. The Book Dash model is about producing books that can be uploaded onto an open source platform where anybody can read those books free of charge. But the other big aspect in South Africa is the idea of doing cheap print runs of these books and distributing them to children who don't have any storybooks and don't have people who are reading storybooks to them. So distributing books in townships to poor children. And that's very much a goal, and in terms of walls to knock down, for us, for Book Hoof, that is the big wall that I want to manoeuvre my wrecking ball into position and swing it with maximum gusto at that wall. Is the idea of eventually printing these books and distributing them to children who need them, who don't have children's storybooks and don't have children's literature. We also wanted to develop a toolkit, a tool bag. I want a tool bag, a tool bag with all the stuff you need to run a Book Hoof workshop. So whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, you pick up your tool bag, you can go and set up a workshop, follow a simple instruction manual, a simple toolkit of material, and anyone, anywhere in the world can operate one of these workshops. And we're very fortunate at Centrale that we have a flourishing and vibrant and diverse international community. And it's very much my hope that through doing Book Hoof projects with students at Centrale and at other academic institutions, that we can spread this model, that they take this model home and operate workshops in their countries and give books to children in their countries and possibly other countries besides. In terms of the books, the thing that we must focus on, it's not all magic and wonderment, is making sure the books are properly proofread, are edited and are in a publishable condition to be uploaded onto platforms, but also to be printed. So there's a lot of work to be done in that respect. Just very quickly, I've got a few holiday snaps here. Where's this? Where's that? Anybody know where that is? Tunisia, yeah, well done, well done. This is a location that we want to go to very soon. Book Hoof is working in collaboration with the University of Rennes and also with the University of Djendouba in Tunisia, and we're hoping to take some students to do a workshop in Tunisia in the very near future. And where's this? Yeah, where's this? Any ideas? Come on, come on, come on. A good answer, I like that, but no, it's actually Greece, yeah, and Greece is on the radar, yeah, all good holiday locations. Yeah, Greece is on the radar, and where's this? India, yes, India. On the master's program at Centrale, there are a lot of Indian students, and yeah, wouldn't it be wonderful if some of those Indian students take this Book Hoof model back to India and organise workshops there and plant a seed in terms of distributing children's books to children in India. To conclude, two things. Yeah, I would like to stress and express our indebtedness and gratitude to Book Dash for all their kindness and cooperation in allowing us to adopt their workshop model in France. And finally, I'd like to end with a quotation. We make realities out of our dreams and dreams out of our realities. We are the dreamers of the dream. Well, yeah, we're just starting out. We're starting with a dream, and yeah, we're pretty sure we're going to make it a reality. Thank you. I thank you all.